My name is Sabrina Florentino, and I am the Alternative Livestock Systems Extension Educator with the University of Minnesota. Today we will discuss and compare two different mobile broiler chicken huts, one that is a do-it-yourself version and one that is a prefabricated version. Raising broiler chickens on pasture has the advantages of requiring less infrastructure, adding fertility to pastures, possibly impacting insect pest populations, and providing premium pasture-raised meat. At the same time, raising chickens on pasture presents challenges like keeping birds safe from predators and extreme weather, requiring additional labor to move huts, raising slower-growing birds, and poor feed conversion, resulting in higher production costs. Raising chickens in mobile huts requires creativity and ingenuity. The goal of this video is to compare two different mobile hut designs in their construction, stability, ease of use, and predator protection. We compared a do-it-yourself or DIY hut with a prefabricated hut that was ordered online. To learn how to construct a mobile poultry DIY hut like the one in this video, visit the Extension website. On the website, there is a video describing the huts, as well as a supply list and written instructions. The DIY hut is constructed from 2x4 by 8 feet and 4x4 by 8 feet lumber, which creates an 8-foot by 8-foot base. The base is fastened with wheels for moving the mobile hut. An additional skirt of landscape edging was attached to the base to prevent predators from entering when the hut is placed on uneven ground. A steel cattle panel is stapled to the base of the hut, creating an arch. The arch is covered either with vinyl siding or a plastic tarp. The sides of the hut are enclosed with a cattle panel and hardware cloth. A wooden framed door is attached in the middle of one side. 2 waterers and 2 feeders hang from the roof of the mobile hut. The prefabricated hut has a similar design to the DIY hut. It is 9 feet by 6.5 feet at the base and is constructed out of galvanized steel poles. The prefabricated hut is assembled by snapping poles into place and using braces and bolts to connect other poles to the frame. The hut comes with chicken wire to cover the sides of the hut. The chicken wire has to be cut to the right size and shape of each wall. Then a plastic tarp is attached to the roof. 2 waterers and 2 feeders hang from the roof of the hut as well. Advantages of the DIY hut include increased stability. The DIY hut is less likely to be blown away or damaged in a storm due to its sturdier and heavy construction. Longevity. The DIY hut, especially the hut with vinyl siding for the roof, is expected to last many years. The DIY huts on campus have lasted
up to 12 years.
Ease of use. The DIY hut's wheels make it easy to move each day, and the DIY hut is heavy enough that it does not have to be staked down additionally. Furthermore, the DIY hut has easier places to hold onto when moving it. Some of the disadvantages of the DIY hut is its complex construction. The DIY hut is more complex to construct and requires more tools and supplies compared to the prefabricated hut. The cost. The DIY hut materials cost 2 to 3 times more than purchasing a prefabricated hut.
However, the annualized cost of the DIY hut is less.
On the other hand, advantages of the prefabricated hut included easier construction. The prefabricated hut's instructions were relatively easy to follow. However, the directions were quite specific, with certain pieces needing to be placed in a very exact position in order to have success in building the prefabricated hut. Building the hut required fewer supplies and tools, but still took a good amount of time. Modifications had to be made, including drilling holes for added support beams and adding hardware cloth to the bottom half of the walls for better predator protection. A longer plastic fabric tarp was also added to cover the entire arch and sides as well of the hut. Another advantage was the cost. The prefabricated hut cost about $140, which is less than a third of the cost of one DIY hut. However, there was also an added cost for the additional hardware cloth and extra support beams and tarps. Some disadvantages of the prefabricated hut include the stability. The prefabricated hut is less sturdy than the DIY hut and is more likely to be damaged during a storm. Additional support poles were purchased in order to increase the stability of the hut and hold the hanging waters and feeders. Durability. Because the prefabricated hut is less sturdy, it is less likely to last as long as the DIY hut. 2 of the huts were already lost in storms with high winds. They were blown away and sustained extensive damage. A final disadvantage of the prefabricated hut is its ease of use, or lack of ease. The hut does not have wheels and has to be staked to the ground. This makes it harder to move each day to a new spot. The prefabricated hut does not have easy places to hold onto the hut when moving it. It also does not have a hanging bar to encourage the chickens forward, making the moving of chickens more difficult. Both huts provided effective protection from predators, even with pressure from coyotes in the area.
Although the upfront cost of the construction materials for the DIY hut were considerably greater compared to the prefab kit, the actual cost of both were quite similar in the end when factoring in the additional adjustments that had to be made to the prefab hut, as well as the labor to construct both. The annualized cost of the DIY hut that is expected to last 12 years is $64.55, while the annualized cost of the prefab hut that is expected to last 3 years is $173.76.
Overall, both huts were able to move every day and kept the birds healthy, growing, and safe from predators. We hope this video provides valuable insights into mobile poultry huts and helps you make informed decisions about your pastured poultry infrastructure.